Hello and welcome to the Cuppa Cupboard Live. Thank you so much for joining us again for an amazing live stream with another great guest. My name is Matt Gonsalves and I'm just going to do some housekeeping before we start. As you may know, there is the live chat there. If you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube, you can talk to us in that comment box. So when we start talking to our guest and start doing an interview, if you've got any questions, anything that you really want to know from our guest, pop it in there and we will answer those questions right here live on the stream. I also want to just direct you to this little fella as well, which is our Donate Here QR code. As most of you may know, theatres have been closed the entire time during the pandemic. And so a lot of people have been really struggling work-wise over this time. And that's not just the performers on stage, it's also musicians and MDs and, you know, wardrobe staff and everyone backstage. So everyone who contributes to this stream gets a portion of anything that is donated. So if you feel so inclined, please do use that. There is also a PayPal link in the bio for this video or on the last one if it's not there, because I did change it today, where you can give over PayPal as well, and I will also post the link for the GoFundMe as well if you can't find it or can't get the QR code working. But that's enough from me because you're not here to see me, you're here to see my amazing guest. So could you please welcome the awesome Dominic Hartley-Harris.
Hey guys,
Here
how you doing?
Is. How are you feeling? You okay?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, I should say Dom has come all the way down from Birmingham today just to come and be with you guys. So we really appreciate the effort, really appreciate you coming all that way. So what have you been up to during this pandemic? Because you've actually had a few performing opportunities, haven't you?
I have. I mean, obviously, even from today, it's been a lot of online stuff, a lot of kind of like concerts, online, Zoom, that kind of thing, which has been really fun and a really a new way to kind of like get certain things out there, you know what I mean, performances and theatre out there whilst we've been in this kind of eternal hell that we've been in for theatre folk, fans and onstage performers and actors alike. And yeah, it's been really fun.
Now, you've actually done a few gigs at a venue not far from here, actually,
not far from
have
here,
you?
no.
Which is the Drive-In Cinema.
That is correct.
How was it doing that? Like performing on stage to people who were tuning in by their radios in their cars? Like, was it a surreal experience?
It was so strange, but you got used to it so quickly. Because obviously the whole live aspect, you want to feel the fans and you know what I mean, what they're feeling.
But everyone's watching through a window.
Through the window. But still you could hear them like their horns were their claps how it was actually quite emotional actually. And how loud everyone was and how much effort they went to make all the people on stage feel welcome and try and get that little taste of what it's like to be on stage again.
Live performing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's actually quite interesting because there's been quite a lot of videos that have been popping up because theatres have started opening back up again. And it's been like curtain calls and things, and just the emotion or the level of emotion, like it just shows you how kind of important the arts are to people and how important theatre is to people's well-being. And, you know, it's not just something that's like a bonus. It's this collective human experience that kind of connects people together and brings people together.
People missed it so much, and just like the current like little things that are opening back up and things like that, and that is just spelling out how much people have missed it and how much people want it and how vital it is to people's well-being.
Yeah,
you know, and how much of an out it is for people. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to get some songs on straight away. We're not wasting any time this
week.
We're getting straight into this. So you've picked a little acoustic number, which I thought I hadn't heard before, but I actually had, by a little artist called Paolo Nutini.
Yes.
What made you choose this song?
It's just one of my favourite songs to sing. And I've been singing it on and off for a while. Not so much as I've been like on stage and not doing like gigs in musicals and things, but it's just one of my favourite ones to sing. It's so soulful, and it's one of the first ones I ever sang as well. So live. So here we go.
Amazing. So this is Last Request by Paolo Nutini.
Slow down, lie down, remember it's just you and me. Don't sail out, bow out. Remember how this used to be. I just want you closer. Is that all right? Baby, let's get closer tonight. Grant my last request and just let me hold you. Don't shrug your shoulders. Lay down beside me so I can accept that we're going nowhere. Now one last time, let's go there. Lay down beside me. Now I found that I'm bound to wander down this lonely road. And I realize all about your lies, and I'm no wiser than the fool that I was before. I just want you closer. Is that all right? Baby, let's get closer tonight. Grant my last request and just let me hold you. Don't shrug your shoulders. Lay down beside me, and so I can accept that we're going nowhere. Now one last time, let's go there. Lay down beside me. Ooh, don't shrug your shoulders. Lay down beside me so I can accept that we're going nowhere. Now one last time, let's go there. Lay down beside me. Lay down beside me.
I didn't tell you about the applause that we have here. Yeah,
Stop it.
we have to rub the egos of everybody who comes on because they've
Never.
been missing that. They've been missing the applause. You've been missing the claps. Come on, you can be real here.
It's just, yeah, of course, like the warmth. That's what I
Yes,
miss.
the love.
Yeah, the love.
Well, you're getting a lot of love in the comments. We've got, look, I love this song, great tone, great vocals.
Thank you.
What a great song, amazing cover. There you go. Just tune. That's what we got. There you go. Such a nice tone.
Thank you very much, guys.
Smashing it out. Now, you were actually in something when the pandemic hit, weren't you?
I was.
What were you doing?
I was doing Rent. I got there were whispers of what was going on when I was auditioning for it. And no one could have predicted what was going to happen. So yeah, we were in the middle of rehearsing for Rent. And then we went along to Manchester and started the run. And then I think it was the second day of the run that we were told that we were closing. And it was like, we put so much into it as well, and so much love into it. And it was just this kind of like perfect cast that just like loved the material and loved each other, and just we really wanted to show the world this production of it. And we got 5 performances in, I believe. So yeah.
Now, it was actually a bit of a dream role that you were doing, wasn't it? Like, so what were you playing? What part were you playing?
I was playing Tom Collins, and just for as long as I've loved theatre, I've loved that role. Like, well, I say for as long as I love theatre, as long as I've seen it as like a like something I could get into, it's been right at the top of my my character list to play.
Now,
and it's just amazing.
Rent's quite an interesting show because I never feel like it gets a lot of credit here, but I never feel like any of the productions get the kind of gravity that they get in the States.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it ran on Broadway for years and years and years.
Yes.
But like, whenever they've tried to do it here on the West End, it's never quite been the same. And I'm not quite sure why.
I do.
Do you know what I mean?
Think I do get what you mean. I think the identity of, I think it was kind of like, there's a lot of shows, we might talk about one of them later, who knows, but there are a lot of shows that when it comes to the identity of it, they're so American, and the DNA is just so intertwined with what it is to be American and the American experience. But again, I will say this production, and at the time it was happening, all about bringing communities together, all about struggling artists. It was just so palpable, and what we were going through fed into our performances so much, and the love from the audience. Again, you could just see and feel that at the very time period of what we were doing was all in that performance.
Now, I've actually got a little photo of you in Rent. So here we go.
Being
we'll
emotional.
put this up so people can see.
There he is.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is such a great show. I'm very jealous that you got to do it because it is one on my bucket list. It's one that I would absolutely love to do.
It's just incredible.
The music is just amazing in it.
Yeah, it's in my top shows, for sure.
Yeah, you just get to live your best poor creative life, really, in it, don't you? It's
exactly. Yeah, it's great. It's incredible. And it's always been in one of my top shows. And so when I heard, especially when I heard the Hope Mill doing it, I was like, well, this is going to be the production.
Yeah.
I'm like, if there's any production to be part of, it's this one.
So just because some people at home won't know what the Hope Mill is, so the Hope Mill Theatre is a fringe venue in Manchester, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
And obviously, fringe is kind of interesting because most people see West End as the pinnacle because it's got the biggest audiences, it has the biggest budgets, it has everything else. But what is it about venues like the Hope Mill that have such a special place in performers' hearts?
I think it's for lack of a better word, it's the artistic freedom and the collaboration artistically with the people who are running the show, the directors that they hire, the diversity through the cast and crew, and the risks they take of the shows that they want to put on. I think that's what sets it apart from the West End and Broadway and like the big theatres. It is in itself now, through their efforts and their work, a big theatre in my head. Because as soon as people hear the Hope Mill are doing something, they automatically go, well, I need to see that. And that's purely...
even though it's miles away in Manchester, I need to get up
I need to get out there and watch it. And that's me from now on as well. In it, not in it. They've got my heart.
Because there's a few venues like that, like the Curve in Leicester.
Yes.
I was a very good rep for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Chichester as well, for like more plays and some kind of more like legit musical stuff. The Meunier, which is in London, but also a fringe venue. So these venues kind of carry quite a lot of clout and quite a lot of respect, even though... What were the size of the audiences that you were performing to at the Hope Mill?
Well, they were half capacity at the time. So we'd say maybe there were 75 people per audience. Maybe just under 100.
Very intimate.
So really intimate, which, again, I can't imagine right now in my head it too much bigger. Because what we were doing, you could just... Everything was part of... You were in the set. It was almost like a film set.
Yeah.
And which was funny is obviously because we did film it, we streamed it. But we did it not as something on stage being filmed. But we tried to make it so...
it
seamless.
Both ways.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The audience, performers...
And cameras.
Exactly.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. And and I think that all comes from the size of the audience, the theatre, and how that affected what we did. Yeah.
Well, I think like the Hope Mill, they've got some really exciting productions that are coming up soon. I believe The Wiz is going to be happening there soon as well.
Wait.
So if anyone does have any relatives in Manchester that you can get some free accommodation with, I would definitely recommend running up there to go and see that because it is going to be incredible.
I can only imagine what they're going to do with it. Like, it's
hopefully it kind of, some of those productions maybe make their way down to London as well.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Because as I say, fringe is such a funny animal because, as you say, you can have these really, really tiny shows doing these really, really tiny audiences. And as you say, it does mean that producers can take bigger risks because they're like, well, I only have to fill 150 seats or 200 seats. I don't have to fill a whole auditorium, and there's less expense and less initial investment. Yeah. So you do get more exciting pieces. You get more interesting pieces.
From even the audience, they perform. You get more people coming to go, I need to be part of that.
Yeah.
Instead of it just being like the part of the status quo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Which is why the creative and the performers love doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Even though you're like going, yeah, but the pay's lower. It's like, yeah, but I get to exercise and flex my creative muscles
and
a bit
stuff
more.
that you haven't got to do for so long.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
Sometimes. And that's saying if you're not, which obviously they do in the West End as well, some of the time. But yeah, on the whole, places like the Home Mill do throw up these incredible experiences.
Yeah.
A lot more.
I mean, you only have to say, look at Cynthia and Revo in the Menier.
Exactly.
Like, you know, she did how many West End shows before that to how many big, massive audiences and made a splash.
Yeah.
But then she did this little show called Colour Purple at the Menier in front of 175 people, and now she's doing Hollywood blockbusters.
Oscar nominated.
Yeah, and she's won Tonys,
Tony.
and she's won. She went to Broadway. It's like insane. So it just shows you how much, you know, gravity and how much respect these venues have, even though they are smaller.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, you're not a stranger to the West End.
I'm not.
So you've done a few West End shows now, but your first one was what you did with me, which was my first one as well.
Oh my God! It seems like yesterday, but also so much has happened.
I know.
Yeah.
How
that's the
was
first
doing
one.
your first? Because was it your first West End show or first show and first West End show?
It's my first show.
So how was that?
I was
going
leaving
straight
drama
in?
school knowing I was going into Beautiful.
I mean, straight in at West End. Were you? I mean, we spoke last time with Sharon about this whole, because it was her first show and first West End show.
Yeah.
The kind of slight imposter's syndrome that could kind of settle in, where you're like,
I mean, I still have it.
Are they going to find out that I shouldn't be here? That like, you know, this is I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and it's all going to be taken away.
And people are going to go, we made a mistake. But no, I mean, I still get that. But back then, obviously, you didn't have the credits and the years, the experience to back it up, kind of. So you were actually like, I need to really, really every day be like on top of my game. If you know.
I mean, I've got a little photo of you in Beautiful, which we'll put up. This is you doing the locomotion.
Look at him. Look at the baby
there
in the back.
Right at the back. Really smirky smile as well. You look so happy with yourself.
Oh, look at him.
I mean, and there's Sharon at the front who was with us last time. So if you missed that live stream, definitely check that out because she's a ridiculous performer.
You don't want to miss
her.
her.
A lovely person as well.
Incredible. Yeah.
So, I mean, how was it doing Beautiful with the, you know, were there any major learning curves?
I mean, back then as well, I'd never really moved on stage.
Oh, okay.
I hadn't done it. Like, I wasn't a dancer. I mean, dancers will be watching this and being like, well, you weren't in Beautiful. But for me, that was like so big for me to be like...
The locomotion was like a cardio.
That was a
you're
work
doing the BVs and
out.
you're kind of doing this the entire time.
It was just,
I remember seeing you guys huffing and puffing afterwards going, I'm so glad
the
I
smiles,
don't have to do
but
that
the pain in
number.
the eyes.
The pain in the eyes.
The happiness here and the please. But yeah, that was a big learning curve. I'm going like, oh, right. Oh, God, yes, I forgot. This is what West End performers have to do. Everything at the same time. Like, I got so used to doing Ibsen's and Shakespeare's.
And the stamina level
exactly.
and everything that you need.
And that was a huge learning curve. And then also the being part of the Drifters, being one of four, and having to be quite seamless and work as a cohort. And again, your cogs are always ticking, but having to be like quite smooth and that kind of thing. I was not practiced in doing so. Those I'd say, for sure.
Now, one of your kind of major leads that you then went on to do in the West End was a little show called Hamilton.
A little show called Hamilton, yeah.
I mean, how was it when you got that phone call to say, you got the part?
I remember being on the way to pick up my son. So it was just like a normal day. And I'd waited for so long. It'd been so many rounds. And I just didn't. I was like, this is just not going to happen. This is not going to happen. Surely not. And the part as well. I was like...
Yeah, well, who did you play? Because some people at home might not know who you played.
Like a tiny part. Mr. George Washington. President George Washington.
Only the first president of the United States. Yes.
So I was like, there's just no way. And then, I got the call and my agent was just kind of, she was, you know, they do, and they ring you and they're just kind of like,
oh, so how's your day going?
Yes, basically, just like
tiptoeing
tiptoeing around the subject. And I'm like, come on, tell me, you know something.
Behind the phone, like.
You know something. And then, please, you're killing me here. But no, it was just yeah, that's what I'll never forget. The feeling of just being like, the elation.
Yeah.
And it was the first time I'd been a huge fan of something for so many years and been in it. It was like being in your TV.
Yes.
Watching something for so long.
Being in one of your favourite shows.
That was it. It was, something just that I will never, ever forget.
I mean, I've got a little photo of you as George Washington. I mean, looking very dapper.
There he is.
Look at that. I mean, how was it wearing those period costumes? Are they quite uncomfortable? They look quite heavy.
Mine were okay.
Yeah.
The
I know
sword, on the
girls
other
were
hand,
like,
I mean, the girls.
The big dresses with the petticoats and everything.
How they do it. And the corsets.
Yes.
And then hitting these
and
notes.
then having to rap.
Rap.
And hold your breath for that long and all the way to the
Huge
end.
notes. Rapping, the dresses, the movement, having to go up the stairs, the heels. I had it easy. I mean, I had a sword.
Do.
Exactly.
Unless you're in kinky boots.
I mean, call me, please, but but yeah, I had it easy costume wise. It was just like the elegance and again, for a black performer, you don't necessarily always get to be in a period piece and wear these costumes.
My next question was going to be, how did it feel as a black performer playing a historically white character? Someone who everyone knows from history was a white person.
Yeah.
Like, did it feel quite momentous and quite kind of like, oh, this is what like colorblind casting is about, or like,
can be.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, how did that feel, being able to portray someone who traditionally you would never be allowed to portray because of your skin color? I
think again, when it comes to the word freedom and like Tommy Kail would always say, like these characters have the essence of what we know about them in history, what we've learned from the history books, what we're told about them through documentaries and things like that. But the fact that we're rewriting the rule book on who can play them means that we can take that essence and like take it tenfold and like maybe introduce you to a new part of these characters. And for that's what's so interesting about casting people who wouldn't necessarily play them. They get to introduce the world to different aspects of them,
Yeah.
And that was what was interesting about it for me.
Well, I think one of the main things that like Hamilton, or I should say Lin-Manuel, wanted to portray about George Washington was the general in him.
Oh, yeah.
Because everyone sees the president, everyone sees the refined man, but it's like, no, there was the battle there was a struggle, there was an uphill. He was the...
and he was very reluctant.
He was a very rich man, but he was obviously somebody who was playing second fiddle to the British. So they wanted to bring that struggle out in his story rather than just
seeing his mind going, not being the person in the portrait, basically. That everyone thinks they see regal.
With the wooden teeth.
There we go. Being someone who's like, is conflicted, does need this help, can't do everything, quite reluctant to say, yeah, I'll take up the mantle, but I'm going to need, that's why he needs Hamilton. I'm going to need you to, because again, like, who do you know who's done that? Like, he led the Americans to freedom when independence, and then he was also a politician, like, and not just a politician, he was the president.
Yeah.
And
of a system that didn't exist. They had to build something from scratch.
Exactly. So I think it was just that again, starting from the beginning, for me, getting that role was just momentous and a huge task in my head. I think I built myself up for it for so long, and being like, I kept asking the question, but do you need to see? I never saw myself as that guy, leader of men, that kind of thing. And they just said, just let it be, and it will come.
And well, there's quite a paternal aspect to him as well in terms of Washington, but obviously you're a dad, so that you do kind of have to exercise those muscles a few times.
I couldn't tell Hamilton off as much.
Put him on the naughty step.
Exactly. Although I was tempted, but
now, it was your first time rapping. Is this in a show or ever?
Ever. I mean,
how was that?
I rap to myself. But yeah. It's
a lot harder than it looks,
so
isn't
much
it?
harder. So many words. And again, that was another, as you say, learning curve before. Needing to go, well, you want to be in this show.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to have to get over.
Sink or swim. Make it work. Make it happen.
And you'd sometimes get halfway through the show and be like, what did I just say? The muscle memory is you have to trust yourself and say you've had the time to get that in your body, in your head, and you'd get off stage and be like, oh wow,
it was there.
It's happened.
Yeah,
I couldn't even say 16 bars of this before.
Yeah,
before I got the part, and now it's happening.
Yeah,
so, really strange, but now something I can. I mean, I'm still doing it and things like that.
Yeah,
you know what
I mean,
So
I think it's time for another song.
Why not?
So this is actually
no rapping though.
No, this is our chance to do a little duet. As most people who watch regularly will know, one of the main reasons why I do this stream is because I get to strong arm my friends into singing with me. Now, you actually suggested this song, didn't you?
I did.
Now, do you want to say why you picked it before we say what it is?
I think again, when it comes to the original, and these are two people that I massively admire, and from a animation that I love as well. But when you get a chance to do a Whitney and Mariah song, right?
Yeah, I know.
But as a bloke,
particularly as a guy. Yeah, no, you don't get many opportunities.
Grab it. So that's why.
So for those of you who haven't maybe worked it out yet, this is from The Prince of Egypt, which is currently on the West End. So you can buy tickets for it. I believe it's opening probably in September or October, I think after the summer. So tickets will be on sale now if you feel so inclined. But this is the hit song When You Believe from Prince of Egypt. Enjoy.
Many nights we pray with no proof anyone could hear. In our hearts a hopeful song we barely understood. Now we are not afraid, although we know there's much to fear. We were moving mountains along before we knew we could. There can be miracles when you believe. Though hope is frail, it's hard to kill. Who knows what miracles you can achieve when you believe. Somehow you will. You will when you believe.
In this time of fear, when prayer so often proves in vain, hope seems like the summer, but too swiftly flown away. Yet now I'm standing here, my heart so full I can't explain, seeking faith and speaking words I never thought I'd say. There can be miracles when you believe. Though hope is real, it's hard to kill. Who knows what miracles you can achieve when you believe. Somehow you will. You will when you believe.
They don't always happen when you ask,
And it's easy to give in to your fears,
but when you're blinded by your pain,
can see the way, get through the rain.
a small but still resilient voice says help is very near. Oh.
There can be miracles when you believe. Though hope is real, it's hard to kill.
It's hard to kill.
Who knows what miracles you can achieve when you believe. Somehow you will. You will when you
believe. You will when you believe.
It's really hard to do this and play this and hold a mic at the same time. Yeah. Oh no, that was a lot of fun singing that one actually.
Yeah, man.
I had to say I didn't know that song very well before because I've seen Prince of Egypt a few times, but it's really funny. It's got kind of cult status with a lot of people. There's a lot of people like hardcore Prince of Egypt fans.
And for one that's not like a Disney one as well.
Yeah,
that's where it kind of got that cult thing.
I think that's the problem. I think I'm too much of a Disney boy. I think that's probably why I didn't kind of jump on that as much as other people have. I think it came
later on for me.
Yeah, right.
I'm like a secret cartoon watcher still.
I love cartoons. No. Like my wife will tell you, I'm always watching animations. Oh, yeah. But no, we've had a lot of lovely things and things. I believe. Beck believes. Thanks, Beck. Do you believe in us? Hopefully. Yeah, clap, clap, clap. Love this song.
Thank you.
Joe saying lip syncing so hard right now. So there you go. We're inspiring other people.
Love it.
To do some singing. Now, one show that I really, really wanted to get you on to talk about, because Hamilton and Beautiful, we've had a few people come on who have done those shows. Yeah. But this is something that nobody else has done. And it is one of the craziest shows I have ever seen in my life. And there's so many things I'm like, I have to know how that was done. I have to know how that was done. So just to kind of set the scene, you were part of the original cast, which did Manchester and London.
And London, yes.
Of a little show called
Bat Out of Hell,
which for most people will know is one of the biggest albums by Meatloaf.
One of the biggest albums ever. But Mr. Meatloaf,
Jim
Mr.
Stein.
Loaf, and Jim Steinman, yes.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably about 50 years old now.
Yeah.
The album. And yeah, Jim Steinman always wanted to do it
as a musical.
So most of the all of the songs are story based anyway.
Well, I think in interviews he's kind of said that it was almost a music. Like he had a story in his head when he wrote the album. It was almost like
a concept album to what he wanted to do eventually with it anyway.
Yeah, because all of his stuff has a very dramatic lilt to it anyway.
So they're all about 15 minutes long.
Yeah, exactly. It's like every song's Bohemian Rhapsody, basically.
Yeah, basically.
A rock opera. Now, for those of you who didn't get to see Bat Out of Hell, it just had some ridiculous stage things I have never seen done before on the West End.
No,
never.
There were moments in the rehearsal process where they told us what was going to happen. And
were you just like, "What are you smoking?"
I don't think any of us. I don't think any of us believed it was going to happen. Right. Most of them, all of us were like, "Well, yeah, we'll see we'll get to the stage and we'll see what happens." And then it exceeded expectations. Visually, sound-wise, just the effects and everything aesthetically as well. Just about it was just
just
crazy
big
show I've ever been
and
in.
Huge, and you were just like, "This must have cost so much money to put on."
So much. Just it's still the craziest, huge show I've ever been in. So far, but it could potentially be.
Oh yeah, who knows? Right. It might have set a new standard of crazy for like in terms of production level.
Oh yeah.
So just to kind of like set the scene, so you played one of the supporting leads in show,
Jaguar.
Which was Jaguar.
That's right.
And you got to ride a motorbike.
I did. Like again, I was like, "What?" Also,
you see it in the script to go Jaguar pulls up on a Harley.
I was like, "Also, you're trusting me with this. Yeah. This is fun." But I was the first person on stage on a motorbike. Which again, entrance-wise, it's up there.
It's pretty badass.
It's up there.
You can't really top that, can you?
I mean, again, the right-hand man's a badass entrance, but the motorbike there's the sword of the motorbike, you know what I mean? But yeah, that was incredible. Like crazy. Crazy cool as well.
How did that motorbike work? Was it automated or did it have a track so that you drove on and off?
It's tracked in the stage.
It's tracked,
but it's all me.
You actually had control of the
the speed of it and everything is all
the
me.
accelerator.
Yeah. So
did it ever go wrong?
Well, I just have to be very clued on about it when people are dancing about and things like that.
Okay.
Practice.
You don't want to run anyone over.
Oh no, I know. Did it almost happen? I'll let you guess. But no one ever got hurt. But it took a lot of practice. and a lot of risk assessment.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's quite funny because everybody always goes like, oh, it must be so fun being able to do these things. Yeah. And it is fun and it is amazing, but it's also,
like every time.
This is what I mean. Because I did a show called Dreamboats and Petticoats, there's a poster of it there. And in that, we got to ride bumper cars. We actually had bumper cars that we drove around. And same again, I was in, there was no track. I was driving the whole thing and doing the accelerator. But it was so stressful because it's like you had to be in a certain place for a special at a certain time. Yeah. And they constantly broke. So the amount of times where like we had a guy called Stupid Cupid on the back who was meant to be Cupid just as Elvis following us around through the tunnel of love. Amazing. It was meant to be a funfair ride. Yeah. But the amount of times he ended up having to actually push us around the stage because the motor had gone and the battery had died.
That is brilliant.
And it was like, you know, the poor guy... 2 people on a rake, pushing 2 people up a hill. No.
Oh, mate.
So did it ever die on you? Did you ever? Yeah, you have moments.
The first couple of days, I tell you, the first couple of days.
That's why they do previews.
They've got to do it because there were times where I was like... I was like jerking the motorbike on stage.
You're like, I look
and the
so
audience
cool right
were
now.
like, I'm pretty sure I got a round of applause one time when it started again because they were like, and it was going. It was the sound was going like the bike was leaving,
but the bike wasn't.
But the bike wasn't getting off stage, and I was like, and then when it went, I was like. Thank you.
We got there in the end. Thanks for bearing with us.
Oh, thank you. Tune in next time.
Now, I mean, that is pretty impressive, but I mean, there's even more with this show. Oh, yeah. So we're going to kind of just go down the list of what I remember and kind of thing. So there was a bit where a pink Cadillac car gets pushed off the stage and it falls into the orchestra pit. So how did that happen? Like, and when, how did they break that to you that was what was going to happen at that point in the show?
I think that was the first thing that we all heard and went, right.
Like, half of us they're off, they're not.
Right. And then the other half was like, if they pull this off, that's the show we're in. Okay, cool. But yeah, I mean, even first, if you've not seen the show before, the reveal of the car.
Well, because it starts as a dining table, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So it's a table with a cloth. Yeah. And then they pull the cloth off, and then the windshield pops up.
That's it.
And like, and then it's like, oh, it's actually a Cadillac.
An actual life size as well, like the same size as Cadillac is huge, as well, wide and long. And yeah, it's just. What they do the whole routine on the car, and then it gets to move at the end, pushed. Into
and then Raven, the lead girl, basically goes, "Yeah, parents, I'm tired of you singing now," and she basically pushes their memory off the stage. Essentially, is what it's about.
Bye bye.
And it falls into the pit, and then you have this bit where some of the band has some broken instruments because the cars hit them, and they kind of break the fourth wall there. It's a little bit kind of like it, but
it's tongue in cheek.
It's crazy, and it's kind of
also fun.
That's just Meatloaf. So anyone who's a Meatloaf fan will go, "Yeah, that's Meatloaf."
Exactly. And again, that was something that we were just kind of like, and then when we saw it work, we saw it happen. We were like, it works so it works so well.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of the main things that whenever people said like, "Oh, have you seen Bat Out of Hell yet?" Yes. What did you think of the car? Yeah, is one of the first things that people say because it's just so random and just like never been seen before that people just couldn't believe that it happened.
It happened, no.
I mean, but that wasn't even, for me, the craziest thing. So there is a quick change that happens in Bat Out of Hell by one of the leads called Falco.
Yes.
And he does a quick change underwater.
And it is as simple as that. Really. Like, but Rob's such a sport as well. And he's such a professional.
Yeah.
Who originally played Falco. He never missed it. And not only that, he then gets to jump out of the water and sings straight away. And he never sounded like... It's
out
like he's just out of breath, strained, anything. And he bossed it every time.
So basically, just to kind of set the scene of what happens, so like one of the other characters is like pointing the gun at him and kind of like almost forces him off into the water. Yeah. And then he kind of, it's almost like a baptism moment, isn't it? It's kind of like he goes in one way and comes out another.
As a good guy.
Comes out saved. So he falls in. Now, speaking to you, I thought, there must be like a little air pocket for him to go into to change and grab his mic and all the rest of it. But there was nothing. You said it was literally just a tank and he's just in it.
And also, it looks like, I think
A puddle.
people thought
It
was
looks like a puddle. It looks like a
No
puddle.
one thinks it's that deep.
No.
And then he's in, and I think there's just like a little cove.
So he literally just goes under the water, rips off his outfit.
All his outfit, bangs it in the cove, and then he's jumping out. And
then he has like a mic in like a waterproof bag or something.
I think it's on the side of the rock.
Oh, okay,
where
so
it comes
tucked
out.
away.
He's there,
Okay.
and he's like, boom.
And then he's straight into his solo.
Yeah.
Singing Dripping Wet.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
it was
crazy.
just, when I saw it, I was like, you know, those ones where you're like, I wish this was TV so I could rewind that
And
just
see it
because I
again.
want to see it again because
I mean,
I
I would
don't
love that
understand
as
what I
well.
just saw.
Yeah, and it looks so good that I'd want that as well. I'd like to get it filmed.
Because what's also weird is that his costume looks dry.
Yeah, again, something really clever that they did was the kind of like water resistant thing with the costume underneath. So people who are up, I mean, maybe if you're on the front row, you might be able to see a little. But if you're up there, it's like, again, something so clever that they managed to pull off with him looking almost semi-dry, you know?
It was just bizarre. I've just never seen anything like
Anything
it.
No.
And it was just kind of one of those things where you're just like, I almost kind of had to take a moment because I didn't really know what I was witnessing.
Yeah.
I mean, the last special effect, which was just one, I was just like, that looked incredible.
Yeah.
Was there's a motorbike accident at the end of Act 1.
Act 1, yeah.
And you think, obviously, you can't kind of reenact an actual, someone smashing into a wall or something. But what happened was the lead was kind of facing out to the audience. You hear the accident happen.
Yeah.
And then the entire bike just broke
breaks
apart.
apart.
And like, but parts shattered across the stage, like literally flew across the stage.
That's it.
And then all came back together
To form a heart.
So
Again.
is that wires? Is that like how? Because I don't understand how he was sitting on a bike and then not sitting on a bike.
It's very much the position that these parts of the bike are put into. But he's still driving the bike from the top of the stage to the front for it to be in position and things, and it turning, and it was just so much work. And it wasn't always like that as well. A lot of the time it was all through kind of like the dancers and that kind of thing, and through Andrew, who's again just so like electric on stage, all through his performance.
Yeah.
But then eventually it did this special effect came. The first time I saw it, it was just like, how are they doing that? How are they doing that?
It was like something from
Just
a
the timing.
ridiculous magic show.
Yeah.
Like it looked like CGI.
Yeah.
It was like that can't be happening here because even things like Aladdin, where you have the flying carpet, or Chitty Chitty Bang, where they have the flying car, you're like, I can work out how that works because it's just one big object that they're flying around the theatre, or the Dementors in Harry Potter.
Like, yes,
it's 2 or 3 big things, but that was like 20 motorbike parts that went flying in all different directions, and then all somehow come back together again. And I was just like, I don't understand.
I didn't understand. I was like, and I'm still kind of like, I still don't know. Although they won't tell us all the ins and outs of exactly how they did it. But yeah,
some amazing illusions and trickery.
Yeah, exactly. And they don't never trust the actors.
Yeah, I mean those special effects were worth the ticket price and more. Like it was just ridiculous. I've just never seen anything like it. And as I say, I do hope that it almost sets a bit of a
new kind of like that's where they've went. So now
it's like it raises the bar now for every other show coming, where you're like, okay, this is kind of the movie quality effects that people expect
that we can
from shows
get on stage now. Yeah, I loved it. And it's still the most epic, crazy show I've been in, like without a doubt.
I mean, the voices as well were incredible. The performances were amazing
every time.
The singing, I was just like, how are you doing this 8 shows a week? It was just like, I mean, hopefully it might make a reappearance. I mean, with that initial investment, it might not, because it's obviously not a cheap show to put on. But here's hoping.
Yeah,
can you imagine that in a Fringe venue? That wouldn't happen in a Fringe venue.
It'd be very interesting. I bet we're going to need people with the
ninjas in black going like that.
With the bits of motorbike, like carrying it across the stage.
It's not quite the same, is it?
No.
I think it's time for your last song. Yeah, I know. It's that time already. So do you want to introduce this one, kind of why you picked it?
I picked this song because it was originally a Drifter song, so that might give you a clue to why I picked it. And my first show, I played a Drifter. So this is Save the Last Dance for me.
can dance every dance with the guy who gives you the eye. Let him hold you tight. And you can smile every smile with the man who held your hand beneath the pale moonlight. But don't forget who's taking you home, or in whose arms you're gonna be. So, darling, save the last dance for me. Oh, I know that the music's fine, like sparkling wine. Go and have your fun, laugh and sing. But while we're apart, don't give your heart to anyone. And don't forget who's taking you home, or in whose arms you're gonna be. So, darling, save the last dance for me. Don't you know how much I love you so? Can't you feel it when we touch? I will never ever let you go. I love you oh so much. You can dance, go and carry on till the night is gone and it's time to go. If he asks if you're all alone, can he walk you home? You must tell him no. And don't forget who's taking you home, and in whose arms you're gonna be. Save the last dance for me. Oh yeah. Oh, I know that the music's fine, like sparkling wine. Go and have your fun, laugh and sing. But while we're apart, don't give your heart to anyone. And don't forget who's taking you home, and in whose arms you're gonna be. Save the last dance for me. And don't forget who's taking you home, and in whose arms you're gonna be. Save the last dance for me. Save the last dance for me. Promise, won't you save the very last dance for me? Save the last dance, the very last dance for me.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, there's no one here, just so you know, COVID restrictions and all that lot. Don't make people think that we're disobeying the rules. But yeah, you got to sing, Dom. Great arrangement, amazing vocals, smooth. I mean, smooth's definitely the word. When I was editing these videos, I was like, oh, Dom, tone for days.
Thank you very
Tone
much.
for days. There you go. Love that. Smooth. That's the word I was thinking. Yep, Matt Perry, you've nailed it with that one.
Thank
There
you very
go.
much, Matt.
Everyone's always thinking that. Now, we've actually kind of nearly come to the end of our little interview and our live stream. So I just want to say thank you very much for coming in. I hope you've enjoyed your time
I've loved it.
here. Now, I normally do one kind of little bit of a wild question with a guest just to kind of see what they throw at me.
Yeah.
So if your casting type wasn't a restriction, so if it wasn't, you know, if your gender didn't matter, your skin color, your height, weight, body type, whatever, vocal range, what would your dream role be if you were not restricted by your instrument in any way?
I have a. Can I answer a few? Can I give you a few?
Give us a ranking system.
If
you're gonna, because I want your number one.
I've got a top three.
Go for it.
So I'm going to say you guys are going to love to see me as this character. But with gender, your instrument, all that can out the window. It's always fun to see somebody play Glinda, right? I love to see me in a pink dress.
I am imagining you in the bubble.
In the bubble.
In the bubble with the pink, with the blonde wig.
Yeah, I'm ready. And doing a bit of a goodness knows.
I mean, just to kind of put this, I might have to put this on the Cuppa Cupboard Twitter. A guy called Rob Madge. Do you know Rob Madge?
I do know Rob, yeah.
On Twitter did a out of time Glinda performance.
Incredible.
Where he sang Glinda in costumes. He found costumes around his house.
Yes.
And basically was doing, this is what Glinda would be like if she kept missing her musical cues. And it is comic gold. It's
I need to see
absolute comic gold. So I'm going to put it on the Cuppa Cupboard feed. I'll find it and I'll retweet it.
I'll go and
so
watch.
we can see it. But I'm getting that vibe right now.
I'm there. I'm there for it. Honestly, if you're watching, invite me in for an audition. I'm ready.
So that's one. Okay, so
that's
what's the other 3? Oh, that's number 3. Okay, we're going up.
We'll go 3 to 1.
There you go. Look, you'd be a very popular Galinda.
Oh, thank you very much.
Very good joke there, Paige.
Linda.
Like that.
Thank you. And then number 2, Effie White would be.
I was thinking that was going to come up on your list.
It would be bloody good. Like.
That's definitely a vocal range one, isn't it?
Come on.
That's like if my range was
not an issue, let's blast my lungs for an epic.
One show a week.
Yeah,
not
one
8
show a
shows.
week.
I'll do one show a week.
I'll do Saturday night, guys. I'll do Saturday night. So I'll do Saturday night. So that would be epic. But
just to flag that up, actually, we've had Raquel Dennis has come on this show.
Yes.
She is going to be Effie on the Dreamgirls
tour
that is going out. So go back and check out her live stream. She came on when Ashford was on. Yes. So that's number 1. And 2, book your tickets because she is ridiculous.
Incredible. And I watched her when...
oh, did you see her on the West End?
I did, yes.
You're so lucky.
I know.
I missed it.
So people who do get to see her on tour, you're in for a treat. You don't want to miss it.
You're in for a treat.
And then... I'm gonna flip a whole show, and I would say I would love to see just once a gender swapped Hamilton.
Oh,
a gender swapped Hamilton.
So you'd want to play Angelica?
I'd want to play Peggy Mariah, baby. You give me the chance to Say No to this. I mean, come on.
Yes, that is a tune, actually. And you get to be the seductress.
Give me some Toni
well.
Braxton-esque deep vibes. And then some wailing at the end, you know?
Oh, mate. Okay, anyone who's a miscast producer, they normally every year do a little miscast thing where people get to sing songs that aren't them. Yeah. We want to hear that. I want to say no to this miscast. Hamilton's a girl, Mariah's a boy.
Yes.
That needs to happen.
I'm ready. I mean, can you imagine Cynthia Erivo doing a bit of Burr?
Oh, yeah. No, definitely. I can see that. Yeah. No, that would work.
So that's my number 1.
Yes.
That's what I would do.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
So miscast, get at me.
Well, again, thank you so much, Dom, for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure getting to talk to you, honestly. It's just so nice getting to see some old familiar faces from the life before.
The life before.
But it's coming back.
That we'll see more the life after.
Yes, exactly. Definitely, for sure. Yeah. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed our live stream today. And please do put your comments thanking Dom for coming in all the way from Birmingham. He's really made it. And he's going all the way back there tonight as well. So please do show your appreciation in the comment box. As you've seen, we still have our QR code if you'd like to donate anything as you feel so inclined. Help Dom pay for that train fare home. That'd be really appreciated. In 2 weeks' time, we have 2 guests on. It is a double whammy special. We have my friend Greg Fossard coming on, who is from such shows as Spring Awakening and Dirty Dancing, as well as Craig Mathers, who did Spring Awakening with Greg, but has also done Les Mis, which is a massive show that I'm sure a lot of you out there are big fans of. So any Les Mis questions that you got, tune in and make sure you get those into the live chat box. Craig also has an EP that's coming out as well, so he's going to be doing some songs from that, as well as some classic songs that you'll love as well. So it's definitely not something to be missed. Having said about the donation, if I know people are kind of struggling financially during this time as well who aren't in the arts, if it's the case that you cannot donate, that is absolutely fine. But 2 things you can do that cost you nothing that help us out. please subscribe. If we get up to 1,000 subscribers, our channel gets monetized. So you can help us earn money from this channel without having to actually give any money. So please do hit the subscribe button. Also, if you could like this stream and like any further posts that we make, it means that the algorithm goes, oh, these are good videos and people will want to watch them and it will push them to more people. So if you could do those two things for me, that would be absolutely great. But otherwise, it is bye from us.
Bye-bye.
And to leave you with our duet again, just to finish, hope you guys are staying safe and we'll see you next time in 2 weeks' time. See you then.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Many nights we pray with no proof anyone could hear. In our hearts a hopeful song we barely understood. Now we are not afraid, although we know there's much to fear. We were moving mountains along before we knew we could. There can be miracles when you believe. Though hope is frail, it's hard to kill. What miracles you can achieve when you believe, somehow you will. You will when you believe.
In this time of fear, when prayer so often proves in vain, hope seems like the summer, but too swiftly flown away. Yet now I'm standing here, my heart so full I can't explain, seeking faith and speaking words I never thought I'd say. There can be miracles when you believe. Though hope is real, it's hard to kill. Who knows what miracles you can achieve when you believe, somehow you will. You will when you believe.
They don't always happen when you ask,
And it's easy to give in to your fears,
but when you're blinded by your pain,
can see the way, get through the rain.
a small but still resilient voice says help is very near. Oh.
There can be miracles when you believe. Though hope is real, it's hard to kill.
It's hard to kill.
Who knows what miracles you can achieve when you believe, somehow you